The night over Crimea was heavy with silence. A blanket of warm summer air pressed against the coastal plain, broken only by the distant sound of waves rolling onto the Black Sea shore. The Russian airbase at Saki glowed faintly under floodlights, its runways stretching wide, its hardened shelters lined with jets, and its perimeter dotted with watchtowers and surface-to-air missile batteries. For months, Russian state media boasted that Saki was untouchable. The Shield of Crimea, they called it, protected by layered defenses, including the much-advertised S-400 system. Crews stationed here believed those words. They walked the tarmac with confidence. They slept, knowing radars scanned the skies. They trusted the propaganda. But on this night, that confidence was about to be shattered. Saki Air Base was no ordinary installation. It housed advanced Su-30 multi-role fighters and Su-34 strike aircraft that had carried out bombing raids deep into Ukraine. It contained radar stations that fed data to Russia's Black Sea fleet. It was one of the key hubs for Moscow's campaign to dominate the skies over southern Ukraine. Destroying it would not only cripple Russian air power, but send a message: nowhere was safe. In a command bunker, hundreds of kilometers away, Ukrainian officers studied satellite imagery and electronic intercepts. They had waited weeks for the right moment. Western-supplied long-range missiles had been quietly positioned, hidden under camouflage netting in central Ukraine. Tonight, conditions were perfect. Clear skies, minimal electronic interference, and Russian defenses lulled by routine. The order was given. The first missiles ignited with a roar that lit the countryside. Their trails arced upward into the night sky, vanishing into the stars. More followed in quick succession, each programmed with precise coordinates. They were not random shots. Everyone was aimed at a critical target: fuel depots, ammo warehouses, radar stations, aircraft rows. Russian radar operators at Saki were the first to sense something was wrong. Their screens lit up with fast-moving returns approaching from the northwest. At first they hesitated, assuming it was clutter or a test. But as the tracks multiplied and drew closer, hesitation gave way to alarm. The order to activate air defenses came too late. Missile crews scrambled. The massive S-400 launchers rotated, targeting radars warmed up, and interceptors shot skyward. For a brief moment, it seemed Russia's fortress might hold. Brilliant streaks lit the sky as interceptors chased shadows. Some Ukrainian missiles were destroyed in flashes of light far above, but the strike package was designed for this. Alongside the real warheads came decoys, small radar-reflective projectiles meant to confuse and saturate the defenses. The interceptors wasted themselves on ghosts. Too many slipped through. The first detonation ripped through a fuel storage facility. A blinding fireball erupted, rising hundreds of feet into the air. The shockwave shattered windows miles away. Flames engulfed tanker trucks, sending thick black smoke curling upward. Russian ground crews ran in every direction, their silhouettes darting in and out of the firelight. Moments later, another missile struck the flight line. Su-34 fighter bombers, parked in neat rows, became fireballs of twisted metal. Secondary explosions thundered as fuel tanks and loaded munitions ignited. What had been Moscow's frontline strike fleet just minutes before was now a graveyard of burning steel. Then came the strike that changed everything. A direct hit on an ammunition storage bunker. The blast was apocalyptic. The ground convulsed as buried stockpiles of rockets and bombs detonated in a chain reaction. A rolling wave of fire tore through the base, lifting concrete and metal into the air as if they were toys. Civilians in villages along the Crimean coast reported their walls shaking, dishes falling from shelves, and night skies turning to day. The air defense crews tried desperately to respond, but with their radar sights struck, coordination collapsed. Command posts went silent. Generators failed. Radios crackled with half-finished orders drowned out by explosions. Russian airmen scrambled to save what they could. Some tried to taxi jets off the burning tarmac, but the effort was futile. Flames rolled across the runways, debris shredded tires, and another missile crashed into a hangar, consuming everything inside. Firefighters sprayed water and foam at the infernos, only to be driven back by secondary detonations. For those inside bunkers, the experience was surreal. Lights flickered, dust rained from the ceilings, and the ground shuddered with each impact. Soldiers huddled in corners, listening to the thunder outside, some whispering prayers, others cursing their commanders for promising the base was secure. By the time the last Ukrainian missile hit, Saki was unrecognizable. Craters pocked the runways. Entire fuel farms were gone. Aircraft lay in heaps of scorched metal, their wings folded like paper. Smoke and fire turned the air into a toxic haze. Survivors stumbled across the wreckage, coughing, bleeding, their faces smeared with ash. Drones circled above, recording everything. Their silent cameras captured the flames, the chaos, the helpless crews running through smoke. These images were relayed back to Kiev in real time, proof of the mission's success. Within hours, satellite passes confirmed what the drones had already shown. Russia had lost an airbase in one night. The strike reverberated far beyond Crimea. Russian state media scrambled to cover the story, first claiming a minor fire, then blaming careless smoking near fuel tanks. But video from locals, massive explosions, fireballs rising into the night, flooded social media, making denial impossible. In Moscow, the Kremlin fumed. Officials called it terrorism, while military analysts quietly admitted that one of Russia's most secure sites had been obliterated despite billions spent on defenses. In Kyiv, the mood was triumphant. Officials hailed the strike as a turning point. "No place in occupied territory is safe," one advisor declared. Western partners echoed the praise. NATO officials lauded Ukraine's precision, calling the attack a demonstration of modern warfare's changing balance. The destruction of Saki was not just material, it was psychological. Russian pilots who once flew with impunity now knew their bases were vulnerable. Commanders who bragged about impenetrable shields now faced the reality of wreckage and funerals. Civilians across Crimea who had believed propaganda about safety now saw fire lighting up the night sky. And for Ukraine, it was proof that with determination, intelligence, and precision, even the mightiest fortress could fall. Military analysts worldwide dissected the strike. Some focused on the ingenuity of Ukraine's missile tactics, saturating defenses with decoys, targeting radar before striking main objectives, timing the attack when crews were least alert. Others pointed to the symbolism. Russia's war machine was not invincible. Headlines spread across Europe and America. Ukraine destroys Russian airbase. Kremlin shocked by precision strike. Crimea no longer safe. The world was reminded that wars are not static. Every day brings new risks, new weapons, new surprises. For those who lived through it at Saki, the night left scars. Some Russian soldiers described crawling through smoke, unable to see, guided only by the heat of flames. Others recalled the deafening roar of the ammunition depot exploding, feeling as though the earth itself was splitting. For days after, they dug through rubble, recovering twisted metal, burned equipment, and the bodies of comrades. The strike on Saki Air Base was not just a tactical victory, it was a message carved in fire. Ukraine had shown that it could reach deep, that it could cripple Russia's air power where it thought itself strongest. It reshaped the battle for the Black Sea, disrupted Moscow's air campaign, and proved that no fortress is unassailable. And it left the world asking, if Ukraine can do this, what might come next? If you support the bravery and resilience of those who fight for freedom, share this video, like it, and subscribe for more gripping accounts of modern warfare. And in the comments, tell us, do you think this strike was a turning point in the war, or just the beginning of even bigger battles to come?